Hello guys, I am André Miceli and we have another interview for MIT Technology Review Brasil. So I am with Wilfredo Sotolongo and Sergio Severo. Wilfredo is Chief Customer Officer for ISG at Lenovo, and Sergio is President and General Manager for ISG at Latin America. So thank you guys for being here.
Thank you for the invitation.
Cool. So I'll start with Wilfredo. Wilfredo, we are facing lots of different challenges right now, and the pandemic now is ending and things are getting back. How do you see Brazil in this environment, and what are your expectations for that?
So I am personally quite optimistic, not only about Brazil, but about the society we're building in a post-pandemic period. When this entire situation started almost 2 years ago, to be quite frank, many of us in Lenovo leadership, as well as business leadership, were concerned that this would be the kind of health and economic debacle that we have never seen in our lives, at least in our current generation's lives, right? And it was a very painful experience, certainly those first few months, and the losses of life since then, incredibly painful. With that said, we have seen a reaction from all parts of society, whether it's government or business or churches, that show tremendous positive energy and resilience. And we have learned that through technology, we can accelerate the transformation of society and raise our standard of living and deal with something as critical as this global pandemic, while minimizing the pain, right? So right now, our outlook is extremely positive. Here in Brazil, from an economic perspective, also from a technology investment perspective, but it's also extremely positive around the world. We're experiencing kind of a resurgence across most of our technology areas on how people use technology to improve their quality of life.
Talking about the improvement of life, quality of life using technology, how do you see Lenovo helping companies to succeed now that we are pressing play again?
Correct. I following on what Wilfredo was saying, of course there was a high cost to pay in terms of lives and relationship. We had to change the way we live, we work, we relate to everybody. And that also applies to the relationship between our company and our customers. I think Lenovo did a fantastic job at the beginning of the pandemic of being empathic. The empathy with our customers was extremely high. We helped them, for example, to move their workloads from working in an office or working inside a company to work remotely. And we have many cases across the region where we were helping them to do that fast and not to miss a beat in the process. That's an example of the beginning of the pandemic. But with this new normal that everybody is talking about, we are adapting and we are seeing some changes in the way we relate to our customers. For example, the typical counterpart of a Lenovo ISG executive is the CIO in a company, right? The Chief Information Officer. While these customers are changing also inside the companies, now the CIO is not anymore a cost center, the IT. The CIO is a decision-making, make decisions in the strategy of the companies. We also change our relationship with them. And we are working very hard to adapt our solutions, not only to provide the best infrastructure possible, also to manage the best solutions for the customer business. Right? An example of those solutions is For example, now with the arriving of the cloud, it's easy when you had to transition from inside to remote workloads to work in the cloud. We are adapting to work in the cloud, in this environment of the cloud, public cloud, hybrid cloud, and we have also as a service offers in our solutions. So we are changing our portfolio to continue helping our customers in this new normal.
So Lenovo is changing the portfolio. The role of the CIO is changing, and probably the way that you deal with your customers, as you guys are.
We are changing also.
Yes, and that's exactly what I'm going to ask.
Yeah.
How are you guys going to change? The profile of the company is going to change also, because you need a new speech, a new approach, and a new way of thinking, right? And how are you guys going to change everything?
So I would say there are the two biggest changes, or the two biggest lessons for me personally, is that customers and people like us, providers of technology, severely underestimated the power of technology in helping a virtual world. Severely underestimated. And I'm going to use an example. I didn't know this gentleman until about 7 months ago. And in fact, the first time I saw him face to face was Monday.
Wow.
And yet, we were able to build a relationship enough for him to decide to join the battle and represent Lenovo in front of our customers. Had you asked me that, if you had asked me whether that would be possible 2 years ago, I would have said, no way, impossible.
Yeah.
There is no way to create trust and relationship in a virtual world, and yet it happened. So that's the first observation. The second one is we severely underestimated the speed with which we can change. If you look at the trends that are occurring in society and in IT, it's the same trends that were going on 2 years ago. They're not different. They're just happening much faster, right? And some people would say that that aspects of that change were accelerated by 5 years. I think the whole cycle of renovation of technology and application of technology to business processes or government entities is now a much shorter cycle. Okay, so how are we changing? We recognize those two. So the first is we, in terms of our engagement with clients, we're now much more comfortable in engaging expertise all over the planet, because you don't need to travel to Brazil in order to have the best expertise in front of the customer to solve a particular business problem. I can go get someone from Russia who speaks English, hopefully, and help out, right?
Yeah.
So we are bringing subject matter expertise to customers from anywhere in the planet through this virtual world. Two, we have been historically been very product-centric company. So we're turning ourselves sideways to be more of a solution-centric company, where we still have products and we still have to drive best-of-breed products, but we're now trying to integrate them in easy-to-deploy solutions so that our customers can consume that technology quickly, and so that our partners, because we are a channel-first company, can deploy the solutions quickly. That's the second change. The last change is really about representing us as one instead of 3 or 4 different companies. Historically, we've had very strong focused divisions within Lenovo, each of them doing their best they can for their customers. We're now changing so that we continue to do that, but where we see opportunity for synergy across all of our divisions in front of a client and providing that more integrated solution, we do it more rapidly.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, because these different business units, they now must have an integrated offer, because if you guys are talking about solutions, it's absolutely necessary
Correct.
to understand exactly
Correct.
how you are going to add value with each business unit.
That's fine. That's correct.
This differentiation is already happening here in Brazil. This integration and this cool. And yesterday at Lenovo Tech Day here in Brazil, you guys have shown some very nice products. I like it, what I've seen. And I've seen the strength of different partnerships. I'd like to hear a little bit about the importance of these partnerships for you guys.
Yeah. This is an industry that through the years learned the hard way that you cannot be a one-stop shop. You need to collaborate across the industry. We were part of very vertical organizations in our past, where you were telling the customer that you were providing everything. It's very difficult in this diverse world to be the best in everything. Right? It's almost impossible. So we value the diversity of our partners, our alliances. And I think, like Wilfredo was saying, we are partners first. And we are alliance first also. We have this community of alliance with Microsoft, Nutanix, Intel, VMware, software companies that complement our solutions. And also they enable us to present new business models to the customer. Also, André, I remember when they were talking about the Industrial Revolution 4.0. Remember in Davos, everybody was excited about that. And what the part that we're missing with this pandemic that we learned is that revolution is not about digital transformation at the same. Those two words, they don't have the same weight. Digital was ready. The part that was missing was transformation and the people. So when you are in this diverse world, integrating all these alliances, and you put the focus in the transformation, you need this collaboration of everybody. Because the digital part, Lenovo is solving that since many years ago. The transformation part is the hard part. Transform people, transform customers, transform solutions. So, but it's very exciting. It's a very exciting moment because, particularly in Latin America, in Brazil, we are a very young population. And we are digitally fluent. US is not growing. EMEA is not growing at the pace that Asia, Latin America is growing. And we can make a quantum leap in the world because if you give a cellular phone, Motorola phone to any kid of 6 years old, they're going to manage that phone and device better than anybody, right? So we have that advantage also. So if you combine the transformation that is happening, the alliances that we have as Lenovo, and the population that we have in our region, we are in the right place and the right time.
Cool. Yeah, and going deep in this transformation side of the business, it is extremely related with culture and, of course, with people. And you guys have same products, but different solutions. Solutions that are assembled with your engineers, your products, and these partners. But sometimes you guys have to kind of teach customers how to help them how to assemble these solutions. Do you see differences between the Latin America countries or between Latin America and India or US in terms of culture?
Since I am from Latin America myself originally,
vested opinion,
and I've spent a good chunk of my career operating outside Latin America. Of course, there are some huge differences in culture. The point he made about a young population versus a much more mature population is the number one difference, actually. Beyond that, though, to be frank, there's a more flexible, open-minded attitude in places like Brazil. to adopt new technologies and new ways of doing things that I see in other more mature economies and much mature countries. I see it in our own teams. We don't know everything. Lenovo is actually tiene mucha humildad.
Humble.
It's very humble
Yes.
culture. Our
Yes.
company is a humble
Very
culture.
humble.
And we listen carefully and learn. And I see that here in Brazil and in Latin America more than some of the bigger countries around the world. That, by the way, brings me all the way back around to how we service our customers, right? Lenovo has a history that is unique in the planet. And I can say this because I came from IBM. He came from HP. And you're probably feeling it already. It started in China, but it grew up through acquisitions of big portions of IBM.
Right.
It grew up through attracting top talent from some of our top competitors in the Americas and around the world. So it's a very global mindset, but with heavy emphasis on local empowerment and decision making. And that gives us an agility to address customer concerns that I never saw in the more monolithic global players that exist either in the US or in China, actually.
This thinking globally but acting locally, it of course makes you guys do different things in different countries. What Brazil can expect from Lenovo for next year?
So Brazil is a unique case in the Lenovo world because it's one of the biggest. They were saying it in the event yesterday. Brazil is the number 4 in terms of internet users in the world. So that's why it goes hand to hand with this digitally fluent population. Right? But in the Lenovo world, we need to make a big effort to take advantage of that to serve our customers better. So there are many aspects of the strategy here in Brazil that can be unique for Lenovo, or also can be an adaptation of other strategies in other countries, big countries, right? The BRIC countries, the old BRIC countries. Right? So one example is we have a plant here, right? Typically, the manufacture in these kind of plants in our industry is you buy the part, you assemble locally. But we made a conscious effort in Motorola, in the PCs area, in the servers, to do research and development locally. So we have a big center of research and development, and some of the software that you see in the cellular phones, in the PCs, are Brazilian development, because you are digitally fluent. It's very easy to hire people that they understand how to work with these new technologies. So that's a difference. Another difference is, because we do that, we collaborate different with our customers. Every conversation that I have with customers in Brazil, particularly in Brazil, but in other countries in Latin America, is more a collaborative conversation than a selling speech, right? Mm-hmm. It's not the old recipe of I understand your problem and I give you a solution. It's more how we can do business together for your customers. And that's a real statement from us. Because we have the technology, but as we were saying, we don't have all the solutions. And some of our customers, they have the solution. So they can integrate, and we can integrate the solution for the customer. And that is a very easier conversation in Brazil than in other countries.
Really?
Yes. Our customers in Brazil are very open to that. Also, because of all the story that Lenovo has of local development. So you can relate to that, right? Other aspects of the Latin America export people to the worldwide organization. I'm very happy and sad to see people moving to worldwide from a region. And it's part of the conversation that we are having. We are prepared to do the jump. These people are prepared to do the jump. And Lenovo brings a lot of opportunities for our people to grow. That's another part of the company. It's not so easy to grow in other companies.
Yeah, it's interesting to see that. And it's interesting to see the capability of innovating here.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we usually don't have this opportunity here in Brazil. We have innovations from other countries, other places coming here, and the companies, the big companies are, pushing this.
But you know what, André? I think Brazil tried to do that for many years. Remember when you couldn't be a foreign company here? You had to have a different name here. But I think the war is taking care of that. And it's taking care the right way. It's not that you push the companies to do something that they are not prepared to do. You have the people prepared, you have the right environment, you have the education in your people, you have the volume of young people, and now it's happening. The dream of having the engineering here is happening, but it's happening the right way. It's not because you are forced to open a different company, right?
Yeah, but we are facing like a lack of professionals.
Yes.
Yes. We are, especially in this
in the IT.
Yeah, but that's true worldwide, actually.
Worldwide.
Yeah.
And it's actually more severe in other markets. So I wanted to give you a global view of what he just said. We have had as he said, we do software development for parts of our portfolio right here in Brazil, actually across all three divisions. We've had a chance to benchmark our development labs around the world, the Brazilian, to the European ones, to the American ones, to the Chinese ones. And the productivity here is just as good or better as it is in other geographies in terms of quality of the development, in terms of cost of that development, in terms of time to value of that development. So while there was really reluctance, to be frank, because Brazil doesn't have the image of a development center for software. There was reluctance about doing it after we tried it a couple of years ago. We began trying it a couple of years ago. Then we kind of saw and we believed. So we're actually ramping up the investment in the development labs here. Now, there is an area where Brazil can do better and should do better. And it's frankly, again, with a global lens, an area that hopefully you all are pushing your government on, your tax laws. Your tax laws
is very complex.
It's so complex that, to be frank, we could go much faster in Brazil on anything, on development, on manufacturing, on sales, on support, on all aspects of how we operate, supporting our customers here in Brazil, if you just have simpler tax laws.
Yeah, it was a shame that we didn't solve this problem yet. So I have one last question for you two. We have talked about some differences in society, things that are happening now after the pandemic or during the pandemic, and this time that we have accelerated some of these changes, but we have lots of new technologies coming up. The horizon is full of everything. IoT, 5G, the metaverse, lots of things. How are you guys going to deal with this new technologies, and what we can expect from Lenovo? What kind of technology are you guys going to offer in this whole portfolio? I'll start with you, Sergio.
Thank you. It's a good question. Lenovo is driving part of that movement.
Yes.
So it's not that we are participating only, we are driving that.
Definitely.
Lenovo is betting also in a market that is not only growing fast, Lenovo is growing faster than the market in every geography. Right? And that's one thing. The other thing is, if you look at the growth that our area, that is the data center area, has in the next 3 years, is going to surpass some of the traditional part of the business, for example, PCs. We are going to grow faster than PCs because of this pandemic accelerated the whole data center thing. So we are investing very heavily in this area. That is also luckily a high margin area. So because it has more value for the customers. The customers and the market pays more for more value, right? So we see more value there. We are investing there. And you can see that our strategy is to go from the client to the edge to the cloud, right? And put artificial intelligence and automation in all the process for our data center customers. Every product that Lenovo has in all these areas has a touch of artificial intelligence, of the software layer that makes the hardware to be different. And that's the value that our customers are paying, differentiating our offerings. So I think I mentioned that before. We are in the right moment and in the right time, because this is the moment of our solutions, infrastructure solutions.
Cool. What can you add?
I am most excited about the edge side of this story. And the reason for that is people are conceiving new ways for humans to interact and get serviced. And in consuming, in interacting in different ways, we have to set up the infrastructure out there and instrument all of reality in such a way that you can capture data about it and then make important decisions that would enable a better customer experience if you're a retailer, a more efficient and high quality product if you're a manufacturer, a better experience as a citizen of the government. To me, that's the most exciting part. And it's when that new set of applications that we cannot conceive right now, becomes reality through embedded AI everywhere. He said it very quickly, but that's the key: embedded artificial intelligence everywhere. Then that's a revolution. That's the next revolution. Cloud, it's a mature movement. Devices, traditional devices, is a mature movement. Traditional data centers is a mature business. Is distributing that intelligence into new use cases with new application capability using neural nets, I find extremely exciting. I mentioned yesterday, I have a Tesla. I've had it for 3 years. And I'm still at wonder when I press that little button and it drives hours on by itself. I know what's going on behind the scenes, but the typical consumer doesn't.
Yeah.
And it's just fascinating to see that just explode. And it's exploding.
Yeah.
Right now it's exploding.
The things that you never imagined before are happening.
Yeah, very fast.
You step into a shop and they recognize you immediately. And you don't have time to go to a data center or to the cloud to process that information. You need to do it locally and in a smart way, because it's not only the information is there, it has been there for many years. Now we have the intelligence to make decisions about it.
Yeah. And that makes totally difference at the end of the day for the whole society, because we have businesses happening, people happier, and more jobs, more secure. Yeah.
Higher end jobs. Because programming and architecting these more complex systems takes a lot of brain power.
Yeah, and that's a huge opportunity.
A huge opportunity for a young population.
Of course. Yeah. I expect we can do something with this opportunity.
Of course.
So, Wilfredo Sotolongo, Sergio Severo, thank you so much for talking to us. It was very nice, and congratulations for what are you guys doing here in Brazil and with Lenovo. Thank you.
Thank you very much, André.
I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. So, guys, thank you for watching, and be with us at MIT Technology Review Brasil. Bye-bye.